And we know that it's just 2 weeks to the main elections, just 14 days, and the countdown is on. And many of the top presidential candidates taking part in this very election are already on the campaign trail, trying to wrap up their campaign to undertake the last-minute activities in the various whistle stops areas, as well as those targeted last-minute areas they feel that they need to visit before the campaigning or electioneering comes to a close. Well, ultimately, we will all make sure that those who need to get to the polling centers get to those areas to go and vote come election day, December 7. And so that is why that is not only your civic responsibility, but also a choice you have to make because you love Ghana. But talking about that, we have our various correspondents scattered across the country, making sure that they go according to the mapped out strategy of...
they are also doing the asphalting of town roads. He's talked about cutting sods for the Bolga Boko Pulmakum Road. He's also cut sod for the construction of the Tamne Dam at Garutimpani. So these are some of the things he's talked about that his government has done or is doing for the people of the Upper East region. And he's even promising more. Yesterday was the second day of the tour, and that took him first to the Bolga Hospital, where he inspected the ongoing work to upgrade the hospital. There he addressed people who gathered yesterday morning. He told them that the hospital first of all, he said he was satisfied with the rate at which the work was moving, but then he was hopeful that when the hospital was completed, what they are going to do is to properly equip it to make it a first-class hospital so that people in the Upper East region will no longer have to refer cases to Tamale Hospital and all of that. We proceeded to Garu and then to Pusiga, where he's been delivering the same message of telling the people what his government will do. At Pusiga, for example, he continued to sell his idea of putting up farmer centers across the country, including the 3 regions of the north. And he's been telling the people that these are some of the things that the NDC government is doing to put money in the pockets of people. We proceeded from there to Boko, where he continued to address people. He talked about his government giving equal opportunity to everybody, irrespective of their religious coloration, irrespective of their ethnic or political party affiliation. A government with him in charge is going to provide equal opportunity for all. And so he's asking the people of the Upper East region to give him another opportunity after the December 7th election.
Very interesting point you're raising there. But we know that in the media in Accra, consistently the messages from the president have been repleted with utterances of him coming from that area of the country, and so consistently we needed to be voted for by the people or inhabitants in those areas. Has that been the dominant discussion in the media in northern Ghana as well as around where you are?
Yes, he on the first day of the tour, that was one point of his speech that easily caught the attention of many people. He talked about the fact that his government, the NDC government, is a tolerant one, and they don't discriminate against everybody, and went ahead to criticize the MPP and his flag bearer for what he described as their discrimination against some people perceived to be Northerners. He cited the example of Afoko, for example, who, after winning the bid to become chairman of the MPP, some way, somehow got removed. And his opinion was that it happened because somebody within the party does not think he can work with Paul Afoko. And so, yes, he's talked about these things seeming to make the point that the MPP has a certain amount of discrimination for people who are from this part of the country. And everybody has talked about it. But for the local media in the Upper East region, there seems to be some kind of consensus to always put the government on its toes as far as development is concerned. Sorry. And, you know, from yesterday up to today, Most of them are concentrating on the things that the president has said he has done for the region. A lot of them are also talking about the promises that he has continued to make and trying to look at whether it is even possible for these things to be done. And so these are the major issues. Not so much has been talked about as far as the ethnic issues are concerned. The media here rather want to hammer more on what the NDC government is doing or has said it will do for the people of the Upper East region as far as development is concerned. Today, he's taking the tour to the China Paga areas as well as the Navrongo areas. And any moment from now, we should be moving with him.
I see. So where is the campaign tour for the president going next for today? And how many more days is he left with to campaign for the rest of the region or the areas in northern Ghana?
He's going to the China Paga areas today. That is towards also, I understand he'll be going to Kanjaga in the Busa South district, where there is one of the community day senior high schools there. The expectation is that he'll be commissioning that school today. He will come to China Paga, which is one of the constituencies that has supported the NDC over the years. And then he's also expected to come back to Navrongo Central, where we have Mark Woyongo as the MP. So these are some of the areas he's expected to visit today. But sometimes just before he sets off, a lot of party issues come up and he's held in long meetings. So yesterday, for example, some of the planned things on the itinerary were cancelled because they started the tour late. I don't know if an engagement with SADA, a coalition of civil society organizations in the SADA zone, who have asked him to appear before them tomorrow morning to talk about what the NDC government is committing to making sure that SADA works. We don't know if he will honor that invitation, but it is also one of the things that the president is expected to do tomorrow morning before he ends the tour.
Well, we'll see how that goes. And thank you very much, Albert Sorry. Albert Sorry, and we know that you continue doing the good work you're doing for us because we're your election headquarters. Just in case you want to communicate with us on social media, make sure that you use the hashtag ElectionHQ across all our platforms, and you can catch us live. We're streaming live on our Facebook page, News on TV, and also we have a Twitter handle, News on TV. But make sure that you also tend to give us a lot more messages through our number 0560 800,000 on our WhatsApp platform. We'll try as much as possible also to link up with other correspondents across the country as we tend to examine what the various candidates, the presidential candidate as well as those representing their parties or joining the campaign teams of those political parties, telling the citizens across the country as they crisscross every nooks and cranny of Ghana to get the messages of their parties that they represent right to the people. But right now we have to take a break. When we come back, we'll have a lot more discussions on many subjects of national concern. We'll be right back. Members of the Concerned Teachers Association of Ghana have given government a 2-week ultimatum to pay their salary arrears or risk losing their votes. At a press conference held in Wa, the Upper West Regional Chairman of the association, Al-Hassan Abdullah Salifu, noted that government has, for the past 3 years, failed to fulfill part of its obligation, forcing their members to vent their frustration on their leadership, accusing them of being in bed with the government. And the association has since called on its members to vote against the governing National Democratic Congress if government fails to pay the arrears before the close of the month. Well, we have our correspondent Rafiq Salam joining us via Skype to look at consistently what the members of the association have been saying. But it looks as if this has been dating back. Is it a period where many interest groups are making a lot more calls on government, or is just that they have genuine concerns and so would need to share it and vent their frustrations?
At the tail end of the press conference, the regional chairman of the Concerned Teachers Association, Abdullah Salifu, made it clear that this position that they are taking is non-partisan, but they are doing that due to the frustration that they had over the last few months, because government promised them that starting from February, they will receive this salary arrears. But as we speak now, they haven't gotten. Even certain instances like in the Upper West region, only 16 of their members were able to get their salary arrears. And so they are saying that they have no other option than to go this way. And so if government fails to pay the money by the end of the month, they will, or they have called on their members to vote against the government in the December polls.
It looks quite interesting, but once they convene the press conference, it means that they think that somebody will hear or listen to them. Who did they say they would go physically to have their grievances addressed for the meantime, not just convening a press conference?
According to the association, they said they nearly went on strike in February.
Well, we seem to be having technology playing some tricks on us, but we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll have Rafiq again joining us, but then we can also go on with regular programming. Just stay on, we'll be right back.
It will have on the poor teacher. Al-Hassan Abdullah Salifu is the Upper West chairman of the Concerned Teachers Association of. According to the Concerned Teachers Association of Ghana, some teachers in the country for the past 4 years or more have been demanding all manner of salary arrears from the government. These arrears came as a result of government's policy to pay newly recruited teachers only 3 months of their salaries, irrespective of how many years or months they will have worked as teachers. This, according to the government, is to enable the Comptroller and Accountant General to eliminate payroll fraud. This, the Concerned Teachers Association of Ghana said they have fought against in view of the dire consequences it will have on the poor teacher. Al-Hassan Abdullah Salifu is the Upper West chairman of the Concerned Teachers Association of Ghana.
It has been 3 months now since the last tranche of arrears were paid. In fact, Upper West, only 16 teachers received their arrears, which was very, very unfortunate. This has left the affected teachers in limbo as to whether Controller and Accountant General to eliminate government will honor its promise of clearing the backlog of arrears or not. Affected members are frustrated and hence keep venting their frustration on executives. Some have even gone to the extent of accusing us of being in bed with government to deny them their due.
Yeah. Yes. The association noted that, according to the Concerned Teachers Association of Ghana, some teachers in the country for the past 4 years or more have been
So Rafik is back. And Rafik, I was asking, once they've convened the press conference, it means that at least they know that they have an official or an entity or a parastatal they want to go have their grievances addressed. Who did they specifically say would address their grievances?
They are directing it to the president and also to the governing NDC because, like you said, this is an opportune time for them to also get what they are supposed to. And so they think that maybe by issuing this press statement, they will turn the attention of the government to them. And so that's what they are directly, they are talking to government for government to come back and then also to pay these arrears to them. Like I was telling you, in February, they said that they nearly went on strike, but due to an intervention by the Labor Relations and Employment Minister Haruna Diso and the Labour Commission who came in. If not, they would have been on strike by now. But they think that they are now at their wit ends and government need to listen to them.
And they said they were given an ultimatum for a strike action. That will be when? And if after they don't hear from the president, is that the case?
Yeah, they are saying that they have given government up to the end of this month, to pay the arrears, or they risk losing their votes. And they are saying that they are calling on their members. Their members are in the country is about 20,000, and so they are calling on them that when they get to the ballot, to the police station, they should have in mind about these arrears and then vote against the government.
Well, thank you very much. Rafik Salam is our regional correspondent based in Wa, and Wa is the regional capital for the Upper West region. But in the meantime, let's give you our peace message for this morning. As the founder of Salt and Light Ministry, the Reverend Dr. Joyce Rosalind I says, polling stations are not battlegrounds that's why political party agents have to be a lot more tolerant and also desist from causing mayhem during the elections.
My name is Joyce I.E. Most people call me Auntie Joyce. It's that time of the nation's history again. Time to go and cast our ballots to choose leaders who will run the affairs of state. In fact, leaders who are going to make sure that Ghana becomes a country worth living in. So much is happening out there. Many people have said a lot of things. But there are a number of things that are quite critical. And these are matters that require good citizenship. A good citizen knows that voting is part of their constitutional right, and that every other person has the same right. And so a good citizen will not stop people from voting, will not create conditions that will thwart the opportunity for others to go and also fulfill their constitutional mandate of voting. A good citizen also respects other people's views. So a good citizen will be tolerant. Yes, will not like maybe the views of the opposing party, but will recognize that it is their right to say what they have to say. When a good citizen behaves like that, then the issue of violence does not even arise, because we all recognize that as good citizens, we are pursuing our constitutional mandate of freely choosing those we want to rule over us. This December 7th also, it is important for us to behave like that. Many things are being said about whether the votes will be free, fair, just, or so on. I would like each one of us to see things from the perspective of each of us, including regulators such as the EC, including regulators such as the police, law enforcement people, and others who are given the duty of ensuring that the elections are done in a free and fair manner. Each person should be a good citizen. Papa Police, you have to be a good citizen. Yours is to make sure that altercations do not arise, and you do it from a point of view of professionalism. The workers of the EC at polling stations, yours also is to be a good referee. Yours is not to let your emotions take the better of you. Yours is to make sure that everything that is needed is there, that we begin on time, that the machines work, and that when they break down, we are able to get alternatives. If the ruling is that somebody doesn't bring their card with them, but their names were verified, if there's any rule about that, that is what you follow. The political party agents, the polling station is not a battleground. And so yours is to make sure that your votes are properly protected. The votes of your party are properly protected. Lastly, us, those who are casting our votes, we don't need to be so emotional as to want to start a fight because somebody did something which is not allowed. That's why the police are there. That's why the EC officials are there. Pass that issue on to those who need to take care of it. But don't go there spoiling for a fight. Yes, these elections are very important. Like all elections, they're extremely important. But remember, you want your life, you want the life of the country, you want the life of everybody in the country. And that's why you will be a good citizen. The emphasis is be a good citizen.